Hey, boys and girls and whatever. Weather report for August 9th, 2021. What's happening?
I'm having such a long, slow, tiring day.
Ooh,
Yeah, I've given up again.
yeah. I haven't given up yet. I got kind of excited. I just finished a video. I think I'm going to premiere it tonight at 7. That the story of evolution 1. Hopefully a series. I don't know. Anyway, it's a little bit about cell biology and David and Scott. There will be a quiz.
Uh-oh.
Better get your Golgi in order.
Better start.
I'm gonna have to phone up a geneticist or something and have them on the line waiting.
Yeah, well, I made a few mistakes in the video too, and I think I corrected them on the edit. So we'll see how it works. But God, I hate being wrong. But I was wrong a couple times. So anyway,
well, goodness.
Yep. So you can review it. And there's a little bonus at the end about dinosaurs on a boat.
Wait, what?
Dinosaurs on a boat.
Oh no!
So right in the middle, Scott's dog started barfing or whatever, and he had to go attend to it. So David and I started a conversation about dinosaurs on a boat and Batman and Erica, and it went on for.
Question: by any chance, was this boat slightly smaller than the Titanic?
It was slightly smaller than the Titanic, yeah. And
was it made of wood?
Yeah, and there's it's actually kind of informative because they, I guess Batman admitted to how many kinds. Yeah, it was made of wood, and dinosaurs don't eat wood, so that wasn't a problem. But anyway, so I took it out of the middle of the video and put it at the end. So anyway,
Speed, I have a request.
What?
I demand my own theme song whenever I enter the weather report.
What the hell can I do for you?
Speaking of that, Speed, you'll be happy to know that the whole Benny Hill song that is it's permeating throughout the whole community.
Really?
Oh yeah, people that don't frequent this channel at all. Like it's being brought up when on Tangelos and side chats, I see people talking about it, saying, "Oh, we need to play the Benny Hill song." And, oh yeah, I'm telling you, and it's no joke. It's all over the community. Like everybody knows about it.
And I'm not getting any credit, of course. You know.
Yeah,
no credit. They never give me any credit. So I'm thinking
a couple of people probably credited it to you. But then the people they told kind of forgot who you were, and so now it's like, oh, I hear this one YouTube channel always plays Yakety Sax when Otangelo comes on, and
the Benny Hill song is now a water wave spreading out with no one knowing the origins and where it came from.
Sort of like the Dr. Peel thing for Matt Powell.
Well, that was Simon Dan.
Yeah,
okay.
Oh, I thought I found your theme song. Oh, where the hell is it? I'm probably gonna.
What the heck is that?
I can't play it because I can't play a regular tape of it. Sympathy for the Devil, Rolling Stones. Glad to meet you. Hope you guessed my name.
I was more just thinking like Emperor Palpatine stuff. Whatever.
I was thinking more of like the Austin Powers theme song. You know, when it's like Austin Powers, but instead it'd be like Andrew Cumming.
There you go.
Never. I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't. No, you started this nightmare, and now you have to see it through.
Yeah, there you go. You started it.
Send me
Fair
your
enough.
approved list of theme songs, and I'll think about it. But I like sympathy for the
I'll
devil.
try.
I really think the devil thing would, because it so doesn't match your morality and whatever, that I think it would be. Yet you are kind of a devil because you get under their skin
About if you do like
with your disarming style. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just a high school student and I'm coming in here and then boom.
Yeah.
So,
how about like the Rocky theme song or something maybe?
Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Or no, like the Rocky as in the fighter Rocky.
Yeah,
There,
Rocky. Okay, that one.
Yeah,
Eye of the Tiger.
Something like that. Yeah.
I want the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The one, which one do I like?
Sweet
I love that movie.
Transvestite.
Yes, I love that one.
Ooh. Hey Jefferson from the chat. Long time
Anyway,
no see.
I had a pretty exciting weekend, you guys.
What happened?
I rented a rug doctor.
A what?
A rug doctor from Walmart.
That's
And
exciting.
yeah, I cleaned 2 of the rooms in my house, and now the carpet smells really good. It's a lot cleaner. So
That's
and
amazing.
then I returned it. It was a pretty thrilling weekend for me.
That
I
does
brought
sound
you
thrilling.
in. I brought you in for your riveting content.
That's right. Yeah, you're such a conversationalist, Andrew. I mean, AJ. Sorry about that.
Well,
Well, my name does sound like atheist.
That's right. I just saw the A and the A. I thought, okay, Andrew, A for Andrew. I don't know. That's embarrassing. But still,
That's
Well,
a false
I did-
you're a
analogy.
great
did
conversationalist,
show-
AJ.
I did show you guys my new video, but I don't
That's
know
true.
if this
Tell you what,
audience is
folks,
ready for it.
You should be checking your YouTube listings regularly to see this upcoming video from Atheist Junior.
I'll have
Yes.
it go live after the show ends.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there's a treat.
It's a good one.
What you
Go
gonna
watch
talk
it.
about?
Oh, it's just a
what-
meme video.
Oh, it's a meme.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you weren't here when we played it. It was pretty good. So anyway, first of all, I want to straighten out Redefine Living. Something. So he came on and said, I believe in like that I come back after I'm dead or something like that because I said I'm a Buddhist. And he thinks there's only one kind of Buddhist, and he apparently has never heard of a secular Buddhist. And that kind of shows you how entrenched he is in this one way of thinking about Christianity. He thinks there's one way to think about Buddhism, and you've got to accept this reincarnating as a worm bullshit, all of that,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous.
Redefine living. Take this advice. Whereas one does not know, one does not speak.
Yeah.
Very
So anyway.
interesting.
And
Oh.
I got the video. We got some video
The
somewhere.
video.
We
The
got some video.
interesting, incredibly frustrating video.
Yeah, it was. So it was on Neff's stream, and
Which,
Neff's,
by the way, I went there to talk about something completely unrelated to that, and Redefine Living just came in, and that kind of made me sad because I wanted to talk to Neff about dark matter.
Well, it sounded like Redefine Living kind of had a little vendetta against you because you'd had previous conversations, probably in chat or something.
I guess so.
I guess that was it.
I found this true with Darth Dawkins, and it's probably true of a lot of those transcendental people who like to argue. They like to change the subject to their subject and, start a confrontation instead of a conversation.
Ooh, that's good. I want to pin that.
You can use that. Yeah, pin it.
Oh, great.
Okay.
I just realized I'm going to have to listen to my annoying voice once more.
Who is the Lou Animated Place?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. He wants a link for the stream, but I'm not sure if that would be a good idea or not because we kind of want to get something done. But
maybe throw it out
anyway.
there at the hour mark like usual.
I will. Yeah, at the
if
hour
he
mark,
wants
we'll
a
throw a
link,
link up.
tell him $10.
Yeah, $10. Yeah, contact AJ. AJ gives links to
I think,
anybody who asks more than once.
Yeah, he'll give
That's
you
the
some
guy
info.
I actually know him. He goes on. He's buddies with Gromania.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
I
Yeah.
wish I had
I
your
mean,
email.
I don't know. There was one guy that's a little questionable. I don't think that's him.
Well, if he's a buddy of Gromania, shouldn't we just ban him?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So,
Take the comment down. I want to see Scott's hyena.
Why?
Thank you.
Why?
Because I want to give him some appreciation.
Well, thank you, Andrew.
You can only reincarnate if you were shot, stabbed, or run over by a truck, car, tractor.
Huh.
I didn't know that. Now I know. The more you know. Okay, so let's see what I got here. So at 139, Redefine Living comes in, and there's a wonderful thing here where Neff talks about just what a unbelievable logician he is and how he just kills the atheists or whatever. So
how's it going, brother?
Hey, good, man. How you guys doing tonight?
All right, brother. What's up? Good to see you, Sam. Look, I'm going to tell you what, Sam is a powerhouse, brother. I've watched a number of your vids, and Sam, you know what I love about you, man? You bring rationale and reasoning to the table. When you bring such you bring such clarity and such absolute.
Right now, I have this has the feeling of being at a bar, and some drunk guy wanders over to you and puts his arm around you and starts telling you how great you are.
Yeah, I wonder why Neffy is just so he's slurring. I wonder if he's got some health issues or something. And it got worse throughout the stream, so I think the tireder he got, the more his health issue came to the fore. I don't know.
Smokey has returned.
Smokey. It's Smokey. Okay. Anyway, so there's that, and then he starts in on Andrew. Right here, I believe 141.
I think just a lot of these people are so, just inconsistent. I think more than anything. And so like Andrew here, I've tried to have a conversation with Andrew a few times, and actually wasn't going to come in tonight, but I asked Andrew a question a while back, and I'm still waiting for an answer. And so maybe now that we're both here,
I've given you an answer.
But my question for Andrew was: Does natural selection select upon what is true and false?
Why does he sound like he's about to start crying?
Right.
Dannykins. Yeah, he does sound kind of, I don't know. Yeah, he sounds a little emotional. I think he has a vendetta, Andrew. You must have pissed him off somewhere along the line.
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
I'm just trying to ignore him because each time I try to have a conversation with him, he doesn't want to have a reasonable conversation. He wants it's all about what he wants to talk about, not what is helpful to the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. People like receding hairline living never actually want to have a conversation. They just pretend like they want to and then back out like a trapdoor spider.
Do you mean they want to have a confrontation rather than a conversation? Is that what you're saying?
They want to have an evacuation rather than a conversation.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a good meme too.
Hey, Leo.
Yeah, Nephilim has some strange ideas. I agree, even for a Christian. Anyway, so that's where I came in. It's like, does natural selection select upon what is true and false? What in the fuck kind of a question is that? I mean, do you realize
Nephilim
how
free,
off base that is? Huh?
Nephilim Free is the only person who I feel like I can smell him through the computer screen.
That's a good point.
That is a good. I know what you mean, but
yeah, I think after that question, I probably would have ended it right there. Okay, you're not worth talking to because you're a moron. I mean, Jesus, come on. That's the thing. When you ask, you don't even want to have a conversation because you can't tell me he doesn't know that's not a stupid question. Or maybe he doesn't. Maybe he thinks it's actually a
He thinks
legit
it's
question.
real. Yeah, it's one of his real atheist in the corner questions.
Yeah, real zinger. Oh, yeah.
There's natural
And
selection.
does anyone know who Saxy Calzone is?
Yeah.
By any chance?
Yes.
Who is he?
Yes. He frequents all the channels. I mean, I don't know him personally, but yes.
He just insulted you.
I mean, I've
Yeah,
never been
I think
attracted
so.
to
I
a
feel like
calzone, but
So what the fuck? What is that about, Saxy Calzone? How long do you want to be in chat?
Oh no! Don't kick him out, Speed. Just
Okay.
for my sake.
Okay.
I don't condemn that.
That was pretty shitty anyway. Okay. Maybe we'll get Jay. Yeah. Should I invite Jay?
Yeah. Do you have his email?
Yeah, I do.
Well, it looks like Jay knows his actual Evan.
Oh. No, this is not or actually no, I'm not gonna say that because I felt like that would be doxing.
Yeah. No, his well, people call him by name.
Oh
yeah,
no, they
Redefine.
Yeah, he freely shares his name. Oh, Redefine? No, Neff.
Yeah, that's
Neff.
Yeah,
shares his
Neff.
name. Yeah.
Neff shared his name. Yeah, and I think other people have too. I've heard him share his name before. So, but I don't know.
Anyway, okay, let's see where he goes with this.
Good question. I've been asking that question for years. And the truth is, natural selection has nothing to do with what's true and false.
That's right.
It has only to do with what's beneficial and non-beneficial. It has nothing to do with what's
Yeah.
true or
Well, maybe that's
true.
right.
Truth and falsity are concepts that are produced by non-physical minds. They're not
Oh
produced
my
by the chemistry. So,
Yeah, exactly.
chemistry produces only things that are or are not, but not what's true or not true. You can't say that it's true. Now, if you say that it's true that a
Speed.
potassium molecule in
Sorry. No problem, Saxy. I guess I misunderstood that. But yeah, I would agree. Redefine is kind of iffy to me. So I'm glad we shared that. Sorry for the misunderstanding.
Yeah, his name isn't Andrew. It's Sam. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got
okay,
that.
I
Anyway,
was
continue.
wrong. I thought
apologize,
his username was sexy calzone, like calzone that I'm attracted to, or like a calzone that would be in a sequel to American Pie, if you catch my drift. But it's actually saxy calzone, like the musical instrument.
Sexy
I apologize.
Okay.
encountering another molecule will produce another. That's not the same kind of truth. That's a false statement. So it'd be a fake argument. What
the fuck is Neff going on about?
I don't know,
Okay.
but I feel like he's not wearing pants during this conversation.
Okay, you can't say this true. Now, if you say that it's true that a potassium molecule encountering another molecule will produce another, that's not the same kind of truth. That's a false statement. What?
What?
I feel like he's going to start talking about brain fizz.
No, it's just, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Anyway, let's see if we can get to Redefine.
say what we're talking about when we say truth, we're talking about something that's transcendental, not something that's material. So you can't explain the transcendental with the material.
My God, they misunderstand that word.
What do you think about that, Andrew?
I guess I would agree. I don't think science deals with things beyond the natural world.
So let me try to reason with you for a minute. So if natural selection does not,
You notice how he said reason.
Yeah, like let me try to reason with that
Yeah.
response of science dealing with the natural world. Like, oh, I have to try and reason around that. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Let's see.
It's a
Just
perfectly
let me
reasonable statement.
Okay.
Thus begins
not
the
select
madness.
for what is true and what is false, then in a world where there is no God, how would you determine what it is that is true and what it is that is false? How would you determine that?
How can
that
you
which comports
answer
with reality.
true or false on a Scantron if there is no God?
It's just like, yeah, how would you find true or false with in a laboratory. How would you do that? I'm not. So I don't know how to unpack this. Their thinking is so far aground, or so far from reason and rationality that it's almost impossible to unpack what he's saying.
Well, their reasoning is basically to demonstrate the impossibility of the contrary, as it's often called. That basically all other worldviews except Christianity are false because they can't explain knowledge. Therefore, Christianity can explain knowledge. And for one, it's a false dichotomy. But we'll see what he has to say about it from here.
It's totally false. I mean, it's like, okay, they can explain it because, well, God has, truth and falsity, right? It's in the mind of God. Well, then it's subjective if it's in the mind of God, right?
I mean, they just make shit up. Like, of course, you can explain everything when you just make shit up, right? The all-powerful, almighty can do anything, right?
But what's got me going about this fool is that, what does natural selection have to do with this? Why in the fuck is that even in there? Why isn't he saying materialism or science? Why is he honing in on natural selection as if natural selection...
He's basically thinking as if the entire atheistic worldview, quote unquote, is based around natural selection, which
it's
it
equal.
is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's all equal to natural selection. And it's just, yuck, yuck, yuck.
Do you know all reality?
No, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, then how can you determine what is true and false unless you know all reality?
Okay, there it is. So
I know everything because I have a super duper pal in my pocket, so I know it all. Right? Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a magic 8-ball.
Yep.
Oh, hey, Jay.
What was that? Yeah, hey guys.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is what these guys are who are they asking that question to? The question of the how do you justify knowing something without God? Is that what they're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah, to a rational empiricist. That's who they're
that was a question I was asking.
And here's the other one, Jay. How do you know what's true or false if you don't know all of reality? If you don't know everything, how do you know what's true and false? Like,
well, because it can be true and false.
So they're appealing to
reality.
So you have to appeal to omniscience in order to know
anything.
Well, you can know something, and it may not necessarily, and what you're knowing may not absolutely be true. It depends on how they're stating that.
Well, not only
it's automatically circular when you say, well, how do you know? How can you justify what you know if you don't first know God? Okay, how do I justify knowing God?
Well, I would like to ask one of these people, there are religions that have multiple gods. I would like to ask them, how can you claim to know anything without believing in two gods or multiple gods? It's the same level of...
and somebody might also...
Just a stupid question.
Yeah, somebody might also want to tell them that knowledge isn't necessarily... How we come to know what we're doing is when they talk about what is true is not necessarily what is known.
Right.
So knowledge isn't necessarily truth. It's just knowledge is how we come to know things. It's how we come to
truth is kind of a deeper
ascertain. Ascertain what is true in the reality that we all seem to share. It's the best way I can explain it.
According to his statement, a really good, simple reduction of this is if I had 10 cards and 9 of them were face down, I couldn't know what the one card that's face up was unless I knew all 10 cards. That's basically what he said. You have to have, he said you have to know everything in order to know anything.
Well, I don't know. Well, I didn't hear that part. So yeah, because if he's appealing to the idea that, well, I think what they're trying to do is you have to appeal to the omniscient, to an omniscient being to justify knowing anything, because all knowledge comes from the omniscient being. But the thing is how we come to know what is true. The proper way to say it is you could say all that comes about from a God is true, whether or not you know it or not to be true. That's on you.
He says, I'm trying to figure out, well, how can you determine what is true and false unless you know all reality? That's what he said. You'd have to be all knowing, right? No, not necessarily, is what Andrew says. So anyway, that was his statement. How can you determine what is true and false unless you know all reality? So he's claiming that, and he's getting at grounding here. You know, this grounding thing that you have to ground your epistemology all the way back to some, foundational source. So
Right.
he's
you can use
only alternative is foundationalism.
Yeah, they get a little wrapped up with foundationalism because you get foundationalism, you got coherentism, you got foundarentism. And you can work all three of them. Again, you can get into the Munchausen trilemma, and that gets you into some issues right there of how we come to know things and how we can believe what is true and how we can come to know what is true. So this is kind of a weird, to me, it just boils down to almost like a burden shift. You need to tell me, I know. So what they're basically saying is, I know that I know things because I know this God first. Okay. Yeah. Then you ask, well, how do you know that God? Because that God has revealed it to me through special revelation and natural revelation. That'll be their justification.
I asked him that question, and he says exactly those, or he says something along those lines. Yeah. Later on.
But then when they say, okay, when he says, okay, he revealed to you, there was a revelation through special revelation and through natural revelation. What is revelation? How does something first come revealed to you? Then you perceive it.
It's the Bible, and look at the trees. That's what it is.
But you still have to rely on your limited senses and presuppose that your senses are trustworthy. And then what they'll do is say, well, I can obviously presuppose that my senses are good because I'm presupposing the God. It's just circular.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and I always bring it back to the simplicity of what we know right now in front of us. I know I have a cup of coffee. I mean, that is true, and it's a fact that I have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, and even if there are no words to define what it is that you're doing, you would still have that hot fluid in a container of some kind. Yeah. You're holding that fluid, and you seem to be able to consume it, and your senses can perceive the taste of whatever that beverage is.
Right, and I can make predictions about, picking the cup up and taking a drink and all of that. And so these are all facts that we know, and this is these are local facts, and that's basically how we acquire our knowledge.
Well, this goes to the like what Nicola and I talked about, where a baby interacts with the family dog and has no concept of dog. Right. It's true that the dog is there. They're feeling it. They're getting licked by the dog. They may even get bit by the dog. They don't understand the concept of dog, but they're interacting with it on the living room floor.
Yeah, and that's and that goes back to what we are. We're organisms, and everything flows out of us being an organism, and our senses. Okay, and he goes on about the inaccuracy of senses, which which really that is some philosophical bullshit that just drives me up a wall. It's the inaccuracy of the senses.
Well, the other thing to ask them is if they get into the conversation about evidence, always ask them this question: if you find a body laying in the alleyway, what is that evidence of? And if they say, well, that's evidence of a dead body, and you go, no, you have a body. You don't. It may not be a dead body. See, a lot of times they misplace. It would be fun to get into that conversation with Otangelo and maybe even Evan. Yeah. But a little background with my history with Nephilim Free. He was railing on about evolution, the theory of evolution. And I was about a half a fifth into Jinn. This was back in this is like when I first started on these things. Okay. And so I was feeling good. He's inviting people in. I go in there and I start having a talk with him. And I said, what is your whole point to this? How do you get to a God if you disprove the theory of evolution? And he could not answer that question. So we kept going round and round. He was so pissed drunk that he was actually drunk. Because I ended up having a conversation with Thick Shades, who was in there as well afterward. He goes, oh yeah, he was more drunk than you. And you can't find the stream because he deleted it. He got so angry with me. So I kept my cool the entire time. I'm like, what are you going to do if you disprove the theory of evolution? Well, what else do you have after that? I'm like, you may not necessarily have a God because the theory of evolution doesn't solve origin of life questions.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Should we go further?
Keep going. Yep.
Further.
Further into the
Your
rabbit
show.
hole.
You'd have to be all-knowing, right?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, well, you would necessarily.
Well,
So how would you?
To me, there
how
are
would you-
different kinds of truth. Like what I'm trying to find is a kind of emergent
Pause
truth
that.
where
So-
The question to ask is, how would you know that you know all things yet?
Yeah.
right, yeah,
So what he's saying is, you would have to know that you have a complete knowledge of all that is true.
Yeah.
right, exactly.
You would have to also know that as well. So that becomes problematic.
Mm-hmm.
So it's arbitrary truth. So you would say your
didn't
truth
say
is arbitrary. Well, if you say that there's different kinds of truth, that means that
So now he's going to, if you can't ground your truth all the way back to the beginning of the universe or whatever, then it has to be subjective or arbitrary. And he keeps harping about that. And
Well, what's an arbitrary? What's an arbitrary? Is he talking about an abstract truth, a conceptual truth?
Arbitrary.
An arbitrary truth would just be a truth that's on a whim.
Well, he gets dumber here in a second when he starts talking about the heliocentric view of the universe and scientists.
there would be
because
more
an
truth, and there would be
Well, an arbitrary truth would be like what you believe to be true, but it's not necessarily true.
Yeah,
Right.
not necessarily true. Yep, and that's where he's going.
my truth. And in a world
No, I
where you
didn't say
don't,
that either. I said
how would
emergent
you
truth.
determine? How would you determine what is true?
Again, that which conforms to what we see in reality.
How do you assess reality?
Through science. That's my whole
But
worldview.
specifically through your senses, right?
So now he's going to empiricism as being the only, basically the only means that science works with. And
not well, like you can't see radio waves, for
I
example.
didn't ask if you can see, but obviously you do science, right? And then you use,
Yes.
I would say that you would use a philosophy, but you would have to at some point rely upon your senses.
Yes, it's
And those, yeah, okay, so that's fine. So a magician and a deceiver would also rely on your senses not being valid in order that they can deceive you.
Oh,
So for example, in a world where let's say that a mutation.
the word is foreskin.
oh, sorry. That's goofy as shit.
Well, so you can say Danny Kins if you have a problem with your foreskin. I mean, there are a lot of males that are in denial about their foreskin, and that's okay. I'm with you. I understand. I feel your pain. Say Danny Kins.
I lost my parents, took mine, bastards.
Yeah, fuckers.
Yeah, damn Jude. Anyway, what was I going to say there? I'm sorry. I just lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Darn.
Oh God, I did. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It might come back. It might not.
Yeah. Yep. No, your foreskin will never come back.
No, I don't think so. No, I think
Okay,
I think that's gone. I think that's gone for good.
Yeah, that's a done deal. That ship has sailed. Okay.
Got passed through people, all humans, and this mutation made everyone colorblind, and they could no longer tell what is blue, right?
Right.
So in their mind, they would see what would be purple. I'm not sure what someone that's colorblind would see, and they would assume that it's blue, but they would not know that in fact it was not blue because they would all be colorblind.
Okay, so by that logic, we could never figure out what ultraviolet is because nobody could see fucking ultraviolet.
Right. Yeah.
That's what
Or
you should have
infrared.
hit with. Yeah. You know,
Or
it's like just
you could define the light in terms of megahertz or whatever, and know at least that that is what other people experience as blue. So there's even a way around that.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're taking away one sense, you're still ignoring all the other senses.
but
We
blue-
don't all have the same experiences of reality due to a different configuration of our senses. But there are ways that you can agree upon rules or agree upon measurements or something like that, and call things red, call things blue.
Yeah, exactly. Because for some languages, we were talking about this on my channel. I think Simus Funk brought this up, where he was talking. Maybe it was on my channel, maybe it was on Speeds, but he was talking about how in some languages the word blue is actually green.
yeah.
Oh.
They're the way that they identify. So all you're doing is you've come up with an abstract term that everybody kind of agrees on to identify something in states of affairs. That's
Right.
it. It's not. It may not. It's not. It doesn't have to be intrinsically blue. right? You're just defining it as that's what we define, what we perceive when it's on a clear day. We see a blue sky. Okay, we use blue to define that which that we all seem to perceive, unless for some reason there are those that are limited in their senses to perceive the color blue.
Right. The sky isn't inherently blue because at some points it's actually what we would call orange or red or things like that. Right?
Yeah, or if it's it's overcast. That's how we say. You know, we can tell when the sky is gray, and we say that that's overcast because normally when it's a clear day and we can clearly see that the sun and everything it's a clear sky. It's blue.
Right.
These are all abstracts to define things that we perceive in states of affairs.
Yeah, and the thing is that he's straw manning science with this empiricism bullshit, which I think we settled about 150 years ago. That it isn't just through your senses that we learn what things are, and then people misunderstand how your senses work. If you just had one sense, you could only smell, or you could only see. And you had no other senses to cross-check and back things up, and you had no body and no proprioception, you'd never get anywhere. Everything intermingles and works together, and science works by adding rationality to that.
Yeah, it's almost like if somebody says somebody cannot perceive the taste of salt, and then you say, well, how does your food taste? And you say, well, it tastes salty, and the person has no concept of salt because they don't taste salt. So they have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. But there are ways for them to figure it out, and there are ways to communicate to them what you're talking about, even though they don't have that particular biological ability. Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. And then you can kind of say, well, there are certain things that have this particular flavor profile. So sad that you can't actually taste that.
Yeah, and the thing is that's very, very much how science works with many people. And we're all the same kind of people, right? And with many different senses and many different forms of input that cross-check each other, we put together this fabric of the whole. And that's how it works. And he is straw-manning it to be, you have to be able to sense. I mean, who senses the heliocentric nature of the solar system, right? No one.
Right, and this is kind of why I chose my name, because science isn't just empiricism or just rationalism. To some extent, it's a combination of aspects of both.
Yeah. And so he's straw-manning your epistemology.
Yeah, well, he didn't even want to listen to my epistemology, but go ahead. No. What do you want to say, Jay?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think you guys already covered. I was going to say, I think that person needs to look up. But I think they need to read a little bit more on epistemology in order to have that conversation, because they are straw manning how you seem to come to know as compared to their ability to claim how they can know. Right. So they can appeal to an ultimate authority, they can absolutely know. Whereas if you are saying that God doesn't exist, the presuppositional argument is kind of the trap to basically get you to realize that the only way you can know is by this God. Therefore, that God exists. That's how the presuppositional argument works. Sorry, that's my radio in the background.
Oh, okay. And it's the absolute factor there. Yep.
Are you driving an ambulance or something? You have to go get somebody? Is somebody dying, or do you have to?
No, it's just my site. No, it's just my site radio. No, I don't have to respond. Okay. I hear their crosstalk as well because I'm on their same channel.
Oh, okay. Good enough. So, yeah, there's more.
Yep.
How would you determine fundamentally or scientifically something that which you cannot determine because you have no access to what is true and what is false?
Okay, well, that's where you have to compare your results with other people.
Okay.
So how would that help them if they were colorblind? How would God help them to determine what is blue and what's not blue?
Or red and green colorblind or blue color, whatever.
Yeah.
that was he's appealing. That sounds more like an appeal to authority. He's appealing to an absolute authority for to find absolute truth.
Yeah, but how in the hell does that help him determine what's blue and whether the sun is at the center of the solar system and all of that? I mean, how the fuck does this help?
Because your presupposition of your senses being reliable starts with your knowledge of God.
Okay, so so that's how they get the reliability of the senses. Okay.
It's again, it gets circular, and this all starts. It all starts with the assumption. It all starts with like a foregone conclusion. There is this God that exists. It is definitely this God that exists. It's this God from this particular religion, and they're making arguments to justify why that God exists without demonstrating the God.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's begging the question.
Yep.
So because your senses fail, you would
isolated enterprise.
Yeah. So because your senses fail, you would appeal to other people whose senses also fail.
I didn't say that we would necessarily.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
What I would see.
That's what I'm talking about. When Sam uses irrefutable solid logic and just common sense.
I love this guy. He's wonderful.
It's just beautiful.
Example.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. Just irrefutable solid logic.
Okay, well, how about this, Sam?
Well, hold on, Andrew. I'm not. No. You're not going to dodge. I'm going to hold you to this, and you can answer because what you would get a consensus idea of truth, but a consensus idea of truth when a population is colorblind, they would never be able to access the color blue. They would come.
I just need to understand what he's getting all energized about. Is he saying that everybody has a color blindness and can't see the color blue, everybody in the world, or just a certain group of people?
Okay, well, again, you can go right back to what you guys were talking about before about not being able to see ultraviolet and infrared.
Yeah, what he's really getting...
It'd be the same thing.
What he's really getting
at is... everybody in the whole world wasn't able to see blue, then there would be no blue and it wouldn't matter. We would something else, and we would call it something. We might.
Well, you could still have it be blue, but it wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same hue as what we know as blue today.
Right, but
you could still use blue to define a color, but it wouldn't be the color that we perceive today.
Right,
because our senses can only perceive so much.
Irrelevant example, because we can all do without blue. We don't have to all be able to see blue in order for there to be a truth or not. Am I being clear in my understanding?
I think what you're basically saying there is it doesn't change the fact sky. There's this thing above us.
Yeah. And we can also define hues like that in terms of wavelength. So
or space.
Yeah, maybe we couldn't have 1,000 years ago, but we can now. So this is really a bad analogy and a bad example that he's even using.
Well,
imagine if everybody perceived the vacuum of space as white instead of black.
Right.
Okay, what he's getting at is that all scientists today have a blind spot where they think evolution is true. And he kind of elaborates a little further on. And because of that, because evolution is not true, then God or something. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah. That's been Nephilim Freeze pretty much the basis of his argumentation for many, many years. And he's been hammered on this by lots and lots and lots of people.
You could have just stopped at hammered. But anyway, continue.
That sometimes happens too. Yeah.
He was a little hammered.
To the conclusion, based on a consensus, that a color is blue, but fundamentally it would not be blue. So how would you resolve this?
What the fuck?
Do you have access to fundamental truth and falsity from your worldview?
Blue is not a fundamental
population of scientists in this case.
Where does it tell you what blue is in the Bible? For sure.
It's not a fundamental thing. So so fuck off, Redefine Living. That's Redefine Living, right?
How would belief in God help you if everybody was colorblind and couldn't see the color blue? I don't quite get where he's going or why he thinks God
you'd still be relying on some on your other senses or that limited sense that you can't perceive the color blue.
Right.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, at what level can you say if he's arguing this? At what level can you say that you can trust your senses to read the Bible? Because you're using your senses to do that, right?
Well, that's where you need to push back on them right there.
Yeah.
How can you know where the words of Jesus are if you can't see red?
Yeah, you should right off the bat.
Can't trust that you're seeing red.
How do you know absolute truth, and how do you know what's true and false? You got to push back on
Well,
all
that's
that. And then he
yeah. That's why
natural revelation and all that. Yeah.
That's why I think a lot of philosophers kind of stay away from that term absolute.
Yeah.
As far as when it comes to knowing what is true, right? It's about knowing what is. Again, this is all bears to how we come to know what is true and
Right.
what is true. What is truth? Truth is that which best comports to reality. What is reality? That's the states of affairs that we all seem to share in. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Now I think it's Ezekiel 126. Now above the expanse that was over their heads, there was something resembling a throne. Like what is it? How do you say lapis lazuli?
Lapis lazuli.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
something
puzzle,
like
I think. But
in appearance, and on that, which resembled a throne, high up was a figure with the appearance of a man. That's it. That's how you figure out what the color blue is right there. So anyway, the robe of ephod was the color blue, according to Exodus too. I don't know who the fuck ephod is, and I haven't seen his robe, so I guess it wouldn't help me. Fucking atheists, you know, no answers in atheism.
They're colorblind.
No, I don't.
That's not what I said. You're dodging.
Appealing
I
to
said
the majority is not.
Can you go back a little bit?
What?
Can you go back a few seconds? I forgot what I said just there.
You're getting old, eh? You're getting up there.
Color blue. They would come to the conclusion, based on a consensus, that a color is blue, but fundamentally it would not be blue. So how would you resolve this? Do you have access to fundamental truth and falsity from your worldview?
Wait, you're saying the entire population of scientists in this case are colorblind?
No, I don't.
That's not what I said. You're dodging.
Appealing to the majority is not in the scientific community.
I'm
is
trying
not
to
an
clarify
argument.
what you were saying. What proportion of the population? Because
how would you determine, Andrew? How would you determine in a world where you do not have access to what is fundamentally true and what is false, so far that you've appealed to the majority? But if that majority has the same problem and that they're all colorblind, then you are going to have an agreed upon consensus of something that is not true. So your appeal to consensus has failed you. Would you like to try something else?
Once again, color is not a fundamental.
That's snarky. Would you like to try something else? So what are the odds that he's been listening to a lot of Darth Dawkins?
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah, he's
Standings
definitely
in the side chat.
Yeah, he is the Walmart version of Darth Dawkins.
Yes.
Or we could even go down a little further to like the Dollar Tree version.
Yeah, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar.
Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, yeah. I would put him down at that level probably, for sure.
So Standing for Truth did a video yesterday, and for the first time I noticed that he thinks he's Batman.
Oh, by the way, that downriver version of Walmart I was thinking about earlier, used to be Bud's Wholesale Club.
Oh, I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah, I know there used to be one in Ponca City, Oklahoma, but that was back in the 90s, and then they all closed down. But it was kind of it would take old Walmarts, where they had a town that upgraded from to a super center, Walmart super center. They would take the old Walmart and make them Bud's Wholesale Club or whatever, and then all their surplus items and not out of stock, where you're trying to get rid of the stuff you're no longer going to sell anymore at the main Walmart, they would download it to there, and you'd go to Bud's Wholesale.
That sounds Club.
Can I respond?
Those are better items.
You can respond, Andrew.
Oh, can I respond to something Leo said? Basically, Leo, I do think he was strawmanning me because I've never said that there is a consensus, therefore this is right. That's not how I think. I'm trying to think in terms of likelihoods, where I think he's confusing consensus with people checking your work, and how the more people check your work and find similar results, the more weight that adds to your result. It doesn't mean that your result is right. Absolutely. It just means that your result is more and more likely as more and more people investigate it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. And I don't think he understood that.
So I don't know how much more of this we should do, but he comes up with the. They used to think that the what was it? The Earth was the center of that the sun revolves around the Earth. Therefore, science could be wrong today. You probably should have asked him if he believes that the Earth revolves around the sun. Like, what does he believe? Yeah, like what does God tell him about the truth there, and how does he establish that? I'd like to know how he establishes that from the Bible. I don't know. Anyway, so
why is he addressing
exactly,
that? Why is he addressing that to Andrew? Because it's true. The science is wrong today, and we will figure out in what areas they are wrong and amend the consensus of what science says. That's really not a problem. It's no problem for anybody.
Well, this is why I specifically said emergent truth earlier in the conversation, because science doesn't really find things right or wrong in a sense. It just finds deeper and deeper, more encompassing explanations. In the sense that older explanations aren't so much wrong as they are incomplete, at least most of the time. So yeah.
Yeah, and then after you left, I think he took it up again and he tried to summarize it here. I don't know. Should we skip ahead to that?
Sure. Yeah. They don't let me talk that much, but
no.
Well, Brandon, you understand that the insulting is a two-way street here, right?
I'm not insulting anybody.
Well,
I'm
sure
giving my
you are.
opinions.
Sure you are.
My opinions are not insult.
Brandon was giving an opinion about Neff's supernatural interpretation of him getting a job after his wife passed away when he was broke, and how he got like $400 appeared in his pocket. And yeah, I used to drink too, and every now and then money would appear or disappear randomly in various pockets. So I don't know. That's just me, but yeah.
So I got called away. I missed quite a bit.
Okay.
Your opinions aren't justified.
Why?
But they're not insult either.
Right? Is opinion true?
They are.
Opinions are subjective, yeah.
Okay.
And his opinion that God did it for him is also subjective.
No, that's where you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. So if you go back and listen to that conversation that I had with Andrew, you'll find out that only one worldview can actually account for what is true and false. Only one worldview can account for what is fact and not fact, and that's the biblical worldview specifically.
And how is that not an opinion?
Well, it's not an opinion, and I will graciously grant all other worldviews, and I just want to know how would you determine? And I don't need to go down that road with you, but if you go back and you listen, maybe you can have.
How is it that this biblical worldview is the only consistent worldview if you have people on Praise's channel arguing all their inconsistencies of their worldview?
Yeah, exactly. That statement right there is what makes me an anti-theist.
Oh yeah, A-Speed. I think there was one other part where I did kind of at least slightly push him on how do you determine God is the fundamental source of truth, but I don't know where that was.
Did you use those words?
I didn't use those words specifically.
Well,
yeah.
I could answer that, but I don't think it would be his answer.
Yeah.
Right.
It would be because God makes whatever is true for God. Yeah. Whatever we know to be true is contingent on knowing God and knowing that there's a God that made that which is true.
Just because he said something that didn't make that much sense, and I feel like it'd be to listen to it.
Yeah, again, you're appealing to X to get to Y for all things, but you haven't demonstrated X. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they get into logic a little bit with you too, and how how logic has to come from a mind, and is it a concept, and a bunch of other crap that was just completely incorrect. Whoa, is somebody moving furniture?
No.
Oh,
that was my trunk. Apologies.
Oh, okay. No. Your trunk.
I was moving the body from the alley. Remember?
You're taking the body. Yeah. Wait a minute. Are you putting the body in your trunk, or are you leaving the body?
Well, I haven't determined if they're a dead body yet, but it's a body nonetheless.
Okay.
And I didn't say a human one. Now, did I?
Okay, that's going to be your defense, eh? Good enough.
That's me being the atheist, lying piece of shit that I automatically am.
Yeah.
Well, thanks by the way, Jay, for coming in and your thoughts to the discussion here. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah. As groggy as I am, I should have slept better last night. But for some reason, I'm dog tired today.
Well, Speed, should we really go over any more of this?
Yeah, I don't know. There's more, I guess, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
So he was in chat and he said he was at work and he might come in and have a talk, but he's gonna get put in the back room if he tries this dodging bullshit or talks over me. So.
Oh, you're talking Redefine Living?
Yeah.
I've talked to him. I think I've talked to him on a couple occasions when I used to go into Praise's live streams. That's when Gavin wasn't there kicking me out. But
Good day.
he can be a little frustrating to talk to.
Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Good midnight. Jay, can you read the chat? Dr. Josh has something to say to you.
Oh, fuck off, Dr. Josh.
Wow. Show the man some respect, Jay.
What the hell?
You probably can't even ground the instantiation of the possibilities.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
what?
I can grab.
That seems like gibberish to me. Well, I don't know.
And I can give you my subjective opinion, Dr. Josh, that you are trolling me.
That is gobbledygook, right? Gobbledygook.
So, Speed, did I hear you correctly? Redefine Living is planning on coming in here at some point?
It kind of sounded like he might be interested in a conversation. Earlier.
I really hope he does, because I would love to dig into his epistemology, because it's absolutely trash from what I just heard.
I mean, honestly, the guy sounds like he's hard to argue with. You know what I mean? Like
it just sounds like he sounds like all of the other. I see this way more in politics, like with a bunch of Nazis. Like I just watched a debate between Eric Stryker and Destiny, and oh my god, that guy is Eric is. It's they all do the same thing. It's not that they're hard to debate with if you know how to handle them. It's that what they'll do is they'll make a point or ask a question, and then when you go to either respond or answer, they'll let you get 5 seconds out and then immediately pivot to something else because they know that you're about to blow what the fuck they just said completely out of the water. It's all a pivot game that they play, and then they consistently overtalk and interrupt you so you can't actually say anything because it's the only thing they can do to make themselves look good in the discussion. But if you know how to handle those people, it's not a problem. And I know how to handle those people.
It's dodge, dip, dive, and dodge.
And I will freely admit that I don't.
Digital Hammurabi is calling you out here. So like you want.
He misses. He's thirsty.
Yeah. God damn, Jay.
Why don't you go peddle some of your atheistic propaganda there, Dr. Josh?
Yeah.
Shots being fired.
Evil.
I have massive respect for Dr. Josh.
Yeah, I know you do.
I'm his boy. So if he's going to troll me, I'm going to troll him right back. He's sitting there probably laughing his ass off right now.
So I caught something earlier today where Praise said something about I'm back at the Trinity again or something. And I don't know what the hell it was. Maybe it was a stream. Name of a stream.
Back again. Yeah, he's
back again. So.
Wait, how many times has he gone from Trinitarian to Unitarian to Trinitarian? How many times has he shifted?
Every time he wipes his ass, Jay. We determined that weeks ago, months ago.
We need an iPhone app to track Praise.
I think it's some sort of
he changes position. He takes back the things. He takes back his opinions on things more than he takes back his channels. It seems. Oh,
God damn!
Can I ask a question for Leo?
Oh,
you can ask a question.
Go ahead.
So Leo, I haven't heard many people make this claim, but I have heard some people make it that in some ways, well, actually, Redefine may have made it that in some ways our senses can't necessarily be trusted. So how do you feel about, I guess kind of the common assumption that's made that in some way our senses are telling us valuable information about the world around us. I guess what's your whole thing on that shenanigans?
So, are you asking me how I respond when people say, "Well, our senses can't be trusted in all instances"?
I guess so.
Yeah, I would say 100%. I totally agree. That's why we have a thing called peer review. That's why we consistently do the same things over and over again until we feel confident that we are actually getting something real about the world. I mean, that's just the basis of science. We don't just do something one time or take what somebody thought they saw on a whim as they were riding their bike through the park. We rigorously test and examine every aspect of things. We'll change variables to see how it changes the experiment, to know how it can change and what things can confound with what else and what's going to change what else. Yeah, that's why we do science, because we can't always trust our senses.
The problem is, Leo, that's just a consensus view of truth.
I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what a consensus view of truth is. That's nothing I've ever read in anything that's ever mentioned anything about epistemology. I have no idea what that is.
Wait, okay, Speed, I need to ask you something. Maybe I misheard you, but did you say the philosophical views that we can't trust our senses is bullshit?
That what?
Well, they would say that your ability to trust your senses is grounded on the fact that there is this absolute being that makes it so.
No, Jay. No. Speed. Speed said something like how the whole philosophical view that you can't trust your senses is bullshit or something, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's
okay. How is it bullshit when we literally can't? When we literally can't trust, we literally can't always trust our senses.
Yeah, but wait, there's a difference there between not being able to always trust our senses and then our senses never give us valuable information, which I do believe is a philosophical position. I can't remember the name of it, and it is not adhered to by practically any philosophers because it's kind of almost incoherent. But I mean, there is a philosophical position that says our senses give us no valuable information. Most people would say they largely give us valuable and meaningful and accurate information, but not always, because our experience helps inform our intuition, which is really where we inform our beliefs and everything. So our experience is, oh my God, it's so extraordinarily limited compared to reality. So of course, and that's why things at the larger scales in terms of relativity and cosmology make no fucking sense to us intuitively. That's why things at the smallest level make no fucking sense to us intuitively, because we've never been able to experience those levels of reality to know what it's like. To speak, to exist or experience these things at this level of reality. So we have no ability to build an intuition about it, to understand it in that manner. All we have is math. All we have is science. That's the only thing we can use to understand that. That's why it's not intuitive.
Shout out to Erica in the chat. Hey, Erica.
Hi, Erica.
Oh, awesome stream last night, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. That was a really good. That who presented the
Jordan,
yeah, he did a really great job.
I'm really hoping we continue to see more of him.
Oh, I would say that our senses do give us valuable information, but do that people experience the world differently, because of our filters and biases. Like there's never mind.
Well, that also brings up the question, by the way, Leo, of if some of us, or I guess if everyone does have their own biases, I guess it's a valid question. How do we make those not necessarily go away completely, but how do we reduce them in terms of
being aware of them? And I know you asked Leo, but by being aware of them, and damn it, I'm missing something. By being aware of them, and not fail safe. It's basically like an error correction. Think of it that way. Like
it's peer review. We filter through biases utilizing peer review. So that if somebody has done something that's biased, somebody else that doesn't share the same bias might read this and say, whoa, this is really, this researcher is really relying heavily on their own research a lot. You know, there isn't a lot of external work done on this. So yeah, and like I said, this is why we do science. Science filters out the biases. The methodologies we use in science, I should say, filter out the biases. They filter out for all of the mistakes that our senses could make. Obviously, science isn't perfect. Nobody's saying it's perfect or that it's the be-all, end-all of understanding the world. Sorry, Speed, it's not. But yes, it's very, very accurate, and it's really helps us to filter those biases out and really break it down to what actually is going on.
In this kind of case, a pluralism of biases helps reduce biases.
But Midnight is very correct. Being aware of our biases is a very good way to ensure, because if you're aware of them, then you're going to know when you're reading something that aligns with that, and you're going to be like, yeah, I need to be aware of that, and just try to filter that stuff out and pick what I can out of this that seems, just baseline factual.
Why, thank you, Leo. That's a big confidence boost.
Does Erica have a link if she can come in?
Nobody got the joke. I thought it was funny, but moving on.
Link is in chat a couple times. So
our chat is having fun, teasing each other.
Okay.
Yep.
You silly atheists believing that the universe came from an explosion of nothingness.
I know. Silly.
I did hear Dawkins say one day that atheists are silly.
Yep. Incoherent.
And as we all know, and as we all know, Dawkins is always right. Oh wait, that's Leo.
We all lie, right? What else?
I hope I'm not always right. That would just be so fucking boring. Having no challenge on anything, not getting to learn anything new. Man, God, I could not imagine that.
How are you, Jefferson?
Hey, doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Good.
Welcome.
We're talking about a Walmart version of Dawkins.
Yeah.
Just in case you were wondering.
So are you at odds with Jay, because he was just here and then he left, and only then did you come in, Jefferson? So what's the problem between you and Jay?
That's a strange thing going on there.
We're the same person, so sorry.
Oh, okay.
Can't be in the same room.
So Jefferson, what are your current thoughts on everything that we've discussed so far?
I've been cleaning, so I've just been kind of listening in the background. The earlier video that we were listening to, the guy that was trying to pull the old school, I'm a Christian, so I get to monopolize truth routine. Who was that?
Redefine Living.
Okay, I think I've had some exchanges with him in the past, like in live chats and stuff. He's aggravating.
Yeah.
He just really irritates me nowadays. I mean, I'm willing to have a conversation with him, but it doesn't seem like he's willing.
I've noticed the thing about people who talk like he does on the internet those are the kind of people that never have opportunities to speak like that to anyone in real life, because they're absolute fucking cowards, and never would, because they'd get their ass handed to them, and so they just release all of that on the internet where people can't hurt them.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be one thing. It's almost like I mean, he's not like a cage stage Calvinist or whatever, where he's like super haughty and like, throwing his dogma at him. But a lot of the stuff that I don't think that these guys realize is that they're just, most of the claims that they're making are theological ones, and they're acting as if that the apologists that they've gleaned this stuff from have preached this to them like they're scientific facts. So they don't make any distinctions anymore. They're just like, no, I've got a theological explanation that explains how truth and stuff works, and like, okay, all right, that's fancy. But then you come in here and do things like, well, how can you know anything if you don't know God first? Like, well, if I can't know anything, I can't fucking know God, can I? So.
That seems to be the problem with revelation in general to me.
The idea that there's this weird thing that these guys do where they pick and choose when they're going to anthropomorphize their God and when they're going to make it so categorically distinct as to be undefinable, right? Like, it's just, you can't possibly imagine what it is. But then at the end of the day, the reason why you need to do what this God wants you to do is because it loves you, and it will be happy if you do what it says, Like those are that's a weird contradiction. It's like, what about this being? Like this thing is eternal and it's atemporal and outside of our space. What makes you think that this thing has feelings like feeling glad or being satisfied? And what on earth is this glorification thing that it needs?
Oh, don't ask such silly questions.
But those are the theological, because like ultimately, like if these guys are trying to say like, hey, you know, the you know, how do you ground truth? Well, at the end of the day, they're going to end up having to get into the fact that the God that they're talking about revealed everything to you in special and natural revelation, and the whole project is to glorify itself. And after they get done with that, you just have to say, glorify itself in comparison to what?
Well, real quick, wouldn't say grounding truth isn't actually if they say grounding truth, wouldn't it be grounding your knowledge of what is true?
I don't know what grounding truth even means. I really don't. And this is why I say when I hear people,
you would ground your knowledge.
Yeah,
you would ground how you know or believe.
And other people, like they say ground, and it's just like, have you ever opened even an introductory book on epistemology? Like this is just not how these people talk. I have no idea how to interpret what they're saying 90% of the time. And then people like that, like you can't probe them to understand what they're saying because they don't even know what they're saying. They're just like reiterating the same things over again because it's all about beating their opponent into a corner rather than actually having an exchange with them. So when you try to like probe them for what they actually believe, you don't get anything because they don't have anything. It's like opening up a box that's supposed to look all pretty on the outside. You open up, there's nothing in it. Like there's absolutely nothing to it. It's insane.
Well, you guys, Leo and probably, I mean, Erica definitely would know about this too because of who she usually goes back and forth with, but it's sort of like the way, if you're dealing with sort of the fundamentalist evangelical Christians, they've learned about the sciences through apologists that are trying to debunk science. And I think most of their exposure to epistemology and ontology and any of those kinds of philosophical trends has been through apologists trying to either
very true.
They're either cherry picking those philosophical disciplines to develop a better apologetic, or they're attacking it with theology or dogma. And so that leads
there
to
is
a lot
a
of cross
distinction I do want to make. I only really find this with like the hardcore fundamentalists or like the creationists of whatever, generally of the young earth type, because I've talked to a lot of theists, like people like Inspiring Philosophy. I disagree with him on a lot, but there is some stuff, you know, epistemological things that I do actually agree with him on. Even Cameron Bertuzzi. I've talked with like the Christians that aren't these fundamentalist idiots, you know, these young earth creationists, and they actually do have some understanding of, you know, things like epistemology or certain aspects of metaphysics. I find that it's the hardcore fundamentalists, the young earthers that just don't have any knowledge of that Christian philosophy. You know, they don't.
Yeah.
And there might be disagreements that with the Christian philosophy. I have them, but at least there's something there. When you open the box, there's something inside of it. You know.
Hey, Jeff, as Smokey would say, the common man fundamentalist.
If Smokey keeps detaching himself from this community, all he would have to do is detach himself from Will Kincaid, and I think that he could have a decent channel. Actually, he just needs. And I think he has come back from the insults. I think every now and then, I mean, he still does it, but I think that the flame has reduced a little bit. We need to find a way to bring it down more.
Well, Leo, why Will Kincaid?
Will Kincaid is just not a good person, in my opinion. Just the things that he's tried to do.
But he's funny.
I don't care. That's like saying somebody goes in and kills a bunch of kids at a school, but it looked really, really funny when he did it. Like, I don't give a fuck if it's funny. If you do a really bad thing,
to a school shooter.
If you do a really bad, dude. Okay, you're not letting me finish the point. There wasn't an analogy between that. I haven't made the analogy yet. Now, as I was, the point being that just because somebody is humorous or something that somebody does is humorous doesn't remove the harm that their actions do. That was the point that I was getting at.
Yeah, but you could still appreciate their humor.
I find it hard to appreciate the humor of people who do it in really, really bad ways.
I mean, I can make a joke right here, but nah, I'm above that.
I didn't know Will Kincaid was humorous.
You didn't know.
Apparently, for speed, he is. Well, you know what? I will give Will this. He can be humorous.
There are times when he puts out a little joke or funny. It's like, oh, okay, that was pretty funny. But yeah, I don't like. He's not some fucking comedian or something.
He's not a professional. obviously.
Well, for example, it was like when Will they were looking at something when Will Kincaid came in and he was questioning Speed about possibly being against the Second Amendment, and during that little conversation, Leo said something like, "Well, if you got rid of if you got rid of all the guns in the world would be a better place."
Well, I
all the
didn't say
guns,
that
the world would
because
be.
somebody said that, but that wasn't me.
Yeah,
I
you said
it was you.
Anyway,
I don't think it was.
The thing is,
Yeah, you said if we got rid of all.
Look, so
Well,
Will Kincaid did a really shitty thing to me, trying to trigger me, about the death of my child, right? But I could still I can still separate all that.
Yeah, but here was my point though. The thing was so Leo said what he said, and then Will goes into kind of like this really obnoxious tirade, talking about, okay, Leo, tell us, if we get rid of all the guns, you got a narwhal tusk and you're going after the terrorists with their bombs and their guns. I'm like, if the statement is, if you get rid of all the guns, the world is a better place, then it's all the guns in the world are gone. So why are you talking about this? Why are you trying to say that Leo is proposing, jokingly, fighting terrorists that have their guns and bombs with a narwhal tusk? That's why the humor didn't work. I know he was being obnoxious, trying to be obnoxiously funny, but it was horrible. That's why I said I didn't. That's why I made the joke. Made the comment. I didn't know he was even humorous because I've never laughed at any. I've never laughed at anything that guy has said. Ever.
No shit. I don't know. He just gets me going. He's just got this crazy ass style.
Gets me going. Speed. Jesus.
Okay, Midnight, where did you take that? Where did your dirty little fucking mind take that? Okay.
I don't know. Okay. I don't know.
Put it in.
I'll put it this way. I think Erica would do a better job of being a stand-up comic than Will.
Really?
I mean,
well, I'm surprised at that.
Erica's pretty damn funny.
Yeah.
Exactly. I could actually find her humorous. Will, I don't find Will humorous at all.
I really don't.
Zero.
Yeah, I don't. But like trolling has never really been a funny thing to me. It's not.
I mean, it depends what kind of trolling, honestly.
Well, sometimes it's funny. Like, look what Dr. Josh is doing with me.
Yeah.
I don't really put that under the purview of trolling, though. I think trolling's a little bit deeper than that. I mean, to me, that's just kind of some playful banter between friends. That I don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
trolling.
I get the colloquial usage of trolling to me, like any form of like banter or playful banter that's had. But for me, I mean, like what it originally meant, like like bullying, but like, just trolling. What?
Yeah, it meant to bring up. You were meaning to bring up something that was inflammatory or something that would get some kind of inflamed responses. Normally, we're trolling, but trolling is.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you like Doug Stanhope?
Who?
Doug Stanhope.
I don't know who that is.
He's a comedian. Okay, go listen to him. He's fucking great. Maybe
I like some of his older stuff. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Well, he
go listen to Andrew Dice Clay.
He's getting high. Well, Andrew Dice Clay is almost obnoxious, but Doug Stanhope is funnier than shit, and he's just really dark, and he gets drunk on stage. And
that's
kind of like.
That's the thing. Andrew Dice Clay almost gets obnoxious, whereas Will is always obnoxious with his humor.
Yeah, he's always obnoxious.
Or his attempted humor.
Anyway,
I have a sciencey question, off topic for Leo.
Oh, but first of all, could we look at what I got on the screen here? So
Sure.
Ken Ham figured out what the UK lawmakers are trying to do. They're trying to indoctrinate. The opportunity to be indoctrinated in secular religion of our day, atheism grounded in naturalism and evolution, millions of years, LGBTQ identities, abortion, racism, under the guise of Marxism, pornography. This is what the UK lawmakers are trying to do to their children, them bastards. Anyway, okay. Now
Dr. Josh, I'm only going back to check to see what other things you've said about me. Keep going, please.
I don't know. I agree. Dr. Josh, please keep insulting my brother. Send a few of those insults my way. I'm going to get going, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, that was short, Jefferson.
Yeah, well, I gotta eat some dinner, and I've got some more cleaning to do. So, I'll be
Have
listening
we
in the
bored
background.
you, Jefferson?
What's that?
Have we bored you?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
You notice in
Get
that
out of here.
snippet.
You're dismissed.
But
You notice in
can you
that snippet
kick me?
just. Am I muted?
No, you're not, Leo. Go ahead.
So, do you notice in that snippet you just shared how there was absolutely nothing of substance? It was just a bunch of buzzwords. Yeah, this is how conservatives work. There's absolutely no substance to anything they say or do whatsoever. It's all emotionally driven. Like
that might be a
sound
generalization you're
that's
pulling
just
there.
It. I don't give it. It's well. See, that's the thing. You can make generalization. Like something being a generalization doesn't make it false.
Sure, but it might be hasty.
Sure. What else? I don't think it is. I think it's pretty obvious.
No, you know what? I love that, Jay. That's. I mean, that's not. It wasn't that funny, but it was still whatever. Moving on. It was just good. I liked it.
Oh, as the world gets darker and more anti-Christian, there's the persecution complex. Oh my goodness, these guys.
Well, everything's going to turn into Gotham City. Where's the Dark Knight when you need him?
Oh, don't grow discouraged by the darkness of the world. Shine the light of Christ in your home.
In this instance, wouldn't it be the White Knight?
Jesus Christ, Leo.
What?
Ooh, he's got a new book that I'm sure. Okay, let's go see what the fucking book costs. Because
what was the other guy was going to say before you? Never mind.
Oh, go ahead.
I was wondering when Rational Empiricist he had something to say, and then but you wanted to touch on that little tidbit that you had up
sorry,
there.
Andrew. What was your sciencey question?
So I hope this doesn't derail the discussion too much. But Leo, what do you think? Leo, what do you think about Jason Lyle's model of cosmology? I forget what it's called.
I don't really know the whole model. I just know that he pushes what he calls the anisotropic synchrony convention, which doesn't work.
Okay. Could you explain that a little? Because I don't quite.
Yeah, it's the idea that the speed of light is infinite, traveling from any body that which it is emitted from, and then travels at half the speed of light back, so that it cancels out to the speed of light. So the problem is that he points at it. Oh well, we can't measure the speed of light in one way, going from a point A to a point B, because to do that you have to have clocks. Well, anytime you move clocks, even by the smallest amount, they're going to feel special relativistic effects, which is going to have an effect on your experiment. So what you would have to do is you would have to send it from one to the other, then back to the original. And so what he says is that you could make, and technically you could make the speed in one of those directions any speed you wanted to, and then just compensate by having that in the other direction or fourthing that in the other direction, one of the two. And technically that's true, you could, but that doesn't mean that's how reality actually works. So for instance, my desk, I could measure it in feet, I could measure it in freaking kilometers if I wanted to, I could measure it in inches, centimeters, yoctometers, I could pick whatever. But the fact that the amount of those units is going to change doesn't change the actual length of the desk. Same basic principle. So the fact that we can change the amount of units that we're measuring something with doesn't change the thing that we're measuring. Secondly to that, the thing is that they're utilizing fundamentally special relativity, concepts of special relativity, namely time dilation, to assert that you can't measure the speed of light in one direction, and then using that to assert that thereby the speed of light could vary and is not constant, which is itself a fundamental postulate of special relativity that they just appealed to get to that conclusion, which it's just a reductio ad absurdum. Not only that, but we don't need to actually measure the velocity that that electromagnetic radiation travels at to determine what its speed is. So we don't have to actually measure the time it takes a photon to go from one place to the next to know what the speed of light is. The formula that gives the speed of light is c is equal to 1 over the square root of epsilon naught by mu naught, which are two fundamental constants. That almost precisely determined what the speed of light was, and we did that with classical electromagnetism.
And all I have to say to that is breathe, Carol Ann, breathe.
I mean,
your explanation took my breath away.
Should you be doing that? Should you be saying that to me when I try to talk?
So
no, I mean, I didn't hear Leo actually take a breath like that. It sounded like the way Leo talks sometimes. It's great. I understood perfectly what he said, but sometimes it sounds like he's saying all of it in one breath. And I'm like, breathe.
Well, you'll notice he turns a little blue at the end. You know,
Everything Leo says, he actually practiced underwater.
Yeah.
Or one more thing, Speed. So Leo, could another response to that claim be that the existence of Seyfert galaxies and quasars, for example, in the distant universe?
Well, Jason would just say that they just look that old, but they're not actually that old. Because the light that was emitted from them got here instantaneously. It's just traveling back that way.
Well, I mean, I was just referencing the fact that they look different, though, than more nearby galaxies.
Yeah, I don't. His model doesn't actually overcome that. He just says, "Oh, well, it's just that they looked like that."
Does it explain the CMB either?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Anyways, go ahead, Speed.
You got people like Sal. Just really quick final point. Then you got people like Sal that say that we don't even know that the CMB is a near perfect black body radiation emitted from the early universe. And the funny thing is that we know that it is because it is a near perfect black body radiation. Oh man, some people are just.
Okay, I am gonna have to question Sal on that, but go ahead, Speed.
Okay, Ken Coulson. I just listened to a little bit of this, but he is creation science an oxymoron? He was kind of coming out in favor of that, and he was saying something about how during Creation Week, all science was bollocks, and so it was all magic all week long. And I think he was making the case that he was making a stronger case for there was magic, and that's how he gets around everything afterwards. But anyway, so I've linked this in the what do you call it? And now I have a sciencey article. I just wanted to point that out. So it might be interesting to listen to the beginning of this. No more than that. And please give it a thumbs down. Fuck them. Wait a minute. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, fuck you. Okay.
I don't give thumbs. I don't even give thumbs down on videos because the thing is, whether you give it thumbs up or thumbs down, it treats the algorithm the same. So you're boosting the viewership either way. I would rather just not boost their viewership.
I doubt my vote did much, but anyway,
you'd be surprised.
I wanted to let's see. So Creo Debunk sent me some articles, and you guys might be interested in. Where are we here?
The planet has changed so much so far.
Okay, have you ever seen a planet being born? Apparently, we've got some evidence here.
Yep, this is great. I've actually I saved this article when I first found it to refute the claims that Otangelo and company make about how we've never seen a star form or a planet form. Yes, we have.
Yeah,
we're watching both right now.
Yeah,
put that in the description. And he had another one. Let me get that in the description. I want to get the title.
How far away is this planet?
Let's take a look at the article. Here we go. Distinctive twist. Okay, you guys can read it. Check it out for me or something.
Leo, do you remember if this was done through like transits or direct observation?
I don't know.
Twist in a disk of gas.
Observational astronomy is not my strong suit because I don't really care about it. I care about understanding the physics of how these systems work, not where they're at and how I can find them.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I just gotta be honest.
Ooh, so they found a twist in the gas.
Wait, hold on here. Wait, Icarus, you say planets are born atheist. Well, according to some people, that is true because planets are rocks and rocks are atheists. So, hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Gotta love rock theism.
Rock theism.
A lot of people call Aaron Rock because he's the one that like really said that and popularized, oh no, rocks are atheists technically. And it's just like, oh God.
And supernova captured in detail.
What was the name of that last article again?
It's in the description.
Oh, okay.
A link and everything.
Whoa, I don't.
Just say
there she be.
Wasn't expecting one in.
Welcome
You're here early again.
Burying bodies again, somebody?
Yeah. Although they're having a cigarette.
Yeah, Jay is.
Then I see the white. I'm like,
Yeah.
What's happening?
Scouting Thomas is trying to elicit on Tangelo.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah, unless he's parked down there. Yeah, his car's not parked.
On Tangelo.
Tangible?
I actually did get an answer to Andrew's question. They used, let me figure out what it stands for. It's called SPHERE. It's part of the European Space Observatory. The Spectral Polarimetric High Contrast Exoplanet Research Instrument. And Jesus Christ, because every time you click a link, they never take you. And its measurements are able to detect things that are far fainter light utilizing their near infrared range. And so they were able to produce images of the disk with super high detail.
So it is direct images.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. That would make the most sense.
I muted you, Jay, because it sounded like you were burying bodies again, and it sounded like some of them were still alive.
Yeah, it doesn't list how far away this is.
I don't know if Jay is with us yet. Anyway, this one, okay, this is Champagne Moment as supernova captured in detail for the first time. So they've got some.
Then nobody else got the joke there, huh?
Oh,
Champagne Supernova.
Oh yeah.
The song by Oasis. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
God, the lead singer of that band was kind of a jerk.
I don't know. I never met the guy.
I went to one of his concerts. He was kind of a dick.
What did he say to you?
What did he say? Yeah, just his whole style with the audience and his band members and stuff. He just seemed like kind of a dick. So
wait, I
show us where he touched you on the doll speed.
Yeah, he touched me on the $18 for a concert ticket, I think. And that was back in the day. That was a long time ago.
For Leo, but I'll wait. I'm sorry.
Oh, I put this in the description too, so now you guys can do whatever the fuck you want. Okay.
That sounds rough.
What?
What?
What did I say?
I don't know. I thought Andrew had something you wanted to say.
Yeah. So I've heard of these observations called baryon acoustic oscillations that are used as evidence for dark energy, and I kind of wanted to understand them better, but I didn't know if you happen to know anything about them.
Yeah. So they're acoustic oscillations that permeated through the hot plasma in the very early universe prior to recombination, that were the result of just the quantum fluctuations and the density perturbations in the matter collapsing in on itself and bouncing back out and releasing these massive waves of energy. And since they're propagating through a medium, they're what we call acoustic waves. And when recombination happened, obviously the plasma disappeared because stable atomic nuclei could form, and that sort of froze these waves in place. And so galaxies, if we would look out, we can actually see them. There's more of them clustered around the centers, and then there's less of them here, and then more of them forming a ring. And we can see this all throughout the universe. It's actually pretty interesting. I have to be honest, I don't know how this relates to dark energy, though. That I don't know anything about.
Well, that helps. I
can find out here in like 5 minutes, I bet. Maybe.
Okay, sure. But you're basically just saying they're measurements of the distribution of galaxies according to the distribution of these acoustic waves in the CMB.
Yeah.
Okay. I apologize for my dog growling in the background. Hey,
it seems pretty weak.
Oh, okay.
Days grew longer, more oxygen in the atmosphere. So another article I linked in the description. But anyway, those three.
Sorry, Jay. Have a good day.
Yeah, we got sciencey on, Jay.
I'm so glad Leo came in here. I appreciate your conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Ocean waves propagated through a medium.
Also, you seem to always be wearing tank tops.
And what does that say about the rest of us?
Cutoffs.
And what does that say about the rest of us, Andrew?
Yeah, fuck you, Andrew.
Yeah, that was kind of mean.
No, I didn't mean that.
Yeah,
sure. Andrew.
Good. Now stop backpedaling. All you atheists are all the same. You got to backpedal.
We have our biology conversations, but I like that me and Leo can have astronomy conversations at least once in a while.
Damn
so we each have things we talk about.
Can't even
okay, so I've got this from the European Space Agency website. I'm just going to read this paragraph quick. Taken, and yeah, they're talking about the measurements from BAO, baryon acoustic oscillations. Taken together, the weak gravitational lensing and the baryon acoustic oscillations provide different ways to measure similar things from the same volume of space. This provides essential cross-checks that will help eliminate systematic errors in either approach. By measuring the large-scale structure of the universe via such different physical properties, such as gravitational potential, density and expansion, velocity, cosmologists can make the stringent tests on different models of dark energy and even Einstein's general relativity. This later... That's a weird wording. I don't know what that means. This later is an essential test. Did they mean to say the latter is an essential test to make in case our understanding of the gravity does not quite describe the force's behavior on its larger scales? So I think baryon acoustic oscillations, my assumption would be like what you can provide some sort of constraints on dark, or figure out some sort of constraints on dark energy from that.
Okay.
Something like that. Don't quote me on that one.
Because I'd heard once that if you were to base the CMB measurements, these acoustic oscillations, and okay, if the expansion of the universe has been constant or slowing down, then they should be such and such size in the distribution of galaxies today. Whereas if the universe has been accelerating, then they would be a different distribution. And that's kind of how I thought they were
So you're
that.
saying that the expansion rate of space-time has an effect on the remnants of these oscillations?
I think at least in terms of the galaxies.
Oh, the galaxy distributions that resulted from. Okay, yeah, well, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
That's my understanding, but my understanding is probably wrong.
That sounds about right.
Okay.
Would
you mind checking for me just in case? Because you probably have access to more resources. Sorry, y'all. We're talking cosmology here. Oh, everyone else is muted.
That's kind of right, Andrew. We enjoy talks about cosmology.
Oh, okay.
Besides, you already said we suck at it, so we're not gonna.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is from Wikipedia, but this
I'm just playing, Andrew. I'm just kidding with you. It's okay.
This first sentence from the Wikipedia article seems to, the BAO and the radial, which baryon acoustic oscillation, essentially that whole background thing that we can measure. The BAO and the radial and transverse directions provide measurements of the Hubble parameter and angular diameter distance, respectively. And the Hubble parameter is obviously Hubble's law, which gives galactic redshift, which is related, obviously, quite intrinsically to dark energy. So, yeah.
Okay. Your mama.
Who's David? Oh.
What are you talking about, Scott?
I was apparently I thought I was muted. I was reading out loud a couple of people's. Dessel Drace went, ha ha ha, David, and of course he was talking about David and what he said, kidding around.
Oh, okay.
And I went, who's David? Like,
who the hell's David?
Yeah, who the hell's David?
David Scott.
David Scott, yeah, that Scott.
David Scott. Oh, that David Scott guy. I hear he's a real jerk.
Yeah.
From the chat, Otangelo thinks that stars don't form naturally. Is he making that claim too?
He doesn't believe that gravity acts on gas. I believe it was.
Oh.
Well, no, because I explained how gravity can, accumulate. You can get stars from, gas accumulating due to differences in density in the early universe, which would have created probably quite massive stars that burned very, very hot and very, very quickly. And then he said I'm pretty sure this is verbatim what he said, gravity does not act on gases. Which we all laughed at and showed that he was wrong, and now he tries to say that that's not what he meant. He didn't really say that. It's like, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
He exactly said that because I remember reading those words myself.
It's bug time.
Hey, CRISPR.
Oh, you killed a ladybug?
Oh,
I didn't kill it. I found it. I didn't kill that ladybug.
Okay.
I did not kill that ladybug.
Ooh, this is... I'm gonna have
is that one of the bugs you dumped on your carpet?
I found this bug out in the yard, and I collected it.
Okay, so it's not a bug you murdered.
Not a bug I murdered.
Looks like a ladybug trying to masquerade as a bumblebee.
Could be. Let's see. Ooh, we got to focus on that one. Whoa. It's a lot of focus. A lot of focusing. Oh, this is what I do when you guys talk cosmology.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's kind of nice. What is that? It's a bug. Had a bunch of bugs. Got a lot of bugs. Ooh, another bug. Can't see that bug.
Okay, we have some profound words of wisdom from Raw Nakedness.
Shoot it in the head.
Yeah.
You can't.
That's just common sense, but
oh yeah,
this is the profound insight from Raw Nakedness.
I was waiting for that. Can't end the stream without some profound insight from Raw Nakedness. There we go. Nice bug. Good bug. Okay, guys, what do you think? Sounds like everybody's burned out.
No, I'm just reading something.
Yeah, I'm just looking through some of our side chat.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I kind of agree with Guerrero here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Getting into a smoky fight doesn't sound like a good day for me. I don't know. He tends to do a lot of videos and, turn up the heat real fast.
Here's a question from Icarus.
Scott Duke was this listed in the description at some point. Christ Atheist Pastor talks a little tangible. It might have been Chris Atheist. Okay, so you got a link to that? I'll put it in the description.
Christopher said he has a link that we can check out.
This was from yesterday, so no, it hasn't been put in the description. I will put that in a list.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. Yeah, I saw that. I watched a bunch of that.
Oh, James Tour on the COVID vaccine. Oh no. Oh shit. That's gonna be fun. Where the hell? Okay. COVID vaccine. Oh my. Maybe we should play this, eh?
I just want to say, if Redefine Living is still around, I hope you got your wish today.
His wish?
Yeah.
Oh,
His
getting
wish
an
for us
answer?
to respond. Yeah, getting answers.
Getting answers in atheism, right?
Yeah. So my just really quick, my initial claim, yeah, that was correct. Because I just went through this. I mean, I can send it to you, Andrew. I don't know how well you understand some of the equations in cosmology. But yeah, at the end here, therefore, the BAO technique helps constrain cosmological parameters and provide further insight into the nature of dark energy. So yeah, the measurements we can get from the baryon acoustic oscillations and how they relate to the expansion of space-time through all of the cosmological math that cosmologists do, it can put constraints on parameters for dark energy, which can help us better understand what dark energy is and how it's acting.
Okay.
So yeah, you were correct. Yes, with your synopsis.
Anybody want to listen to Knack Knack? Knack Knack?
He said he won't watch
I'm
the
done.
video.
That was just the last thing I wanted to say on that.
Okay.
Thank you, Leo.
I'm trying to figure out the last link I had. Okay, should we play Knack Knack?
Sure.
Let's do it.
Insert their DNA into your.
Ooh, I can't hear Knack Knack, but you guys can, right?
I don't wait. So, but who is Knack Knack? I don't know if I've heard of this person.
James Tour.
Oh, I thought there was somebody who had a video of James Tour on something.
Are we gonna get copyright strike for
I've
this?
sent many videos about conspiracies to inject within the population some anti-COVID-19 nanotechnology hydrogel, CRISPR, 5G Wi-Fi, or other technology that is Mark of the Beast-like or somehow technologically or medically reckless. To date, these videos appear as nonsense to me, and I can't view anymore since I'm overrun with this disinformation.
Ooh, So he's
More
actually.
recently, there's the suggestion that the vaccines contain graphene.
Can we pause
graphene
really
oxide,
quickly?
or carbon
Just
nanotubes,
for a really
and they
good
can-
point.
He's saying
Everybody,
something intelligent?
everybody needs to remember James Tour, whether you like him or not, is still a very highly respected synthetic organic chemist who has published a lot of work that has been cited probably collectively thousands of times. Is he an expert in abiogenesis? Evidently not. I think we all recognize that. But we can't pull away from the fact that he is a very well-respected synthetic organic chemist. Okay, you can continue.
Okay.
We know that. We know.
Yeah, I think he's
even render the vaccine recipient ferromagnetic. There is no graphene, graphene oxide, or carbon nanotubes in any of these or any other medical formulations that are approved or even conditionally approved by the FDA. Did you know that many viruses insert their DNA into yours? Not SARS-CoV-2, but many others, which I'm sure you've had if you are more than a few years old. Your DNA, therefore, is not entirely the same as it was when you were born. But God loves you just the same. If I add a
There it
cup
is.
holder to my car,
What was the
I
time
still
on that?
claim that car is my own. And
How
its
long did it take
overall
him to mention
functionality
God?
has not changed.
128.
As with any
About
medication,
115.
it should be a personal choice. There are risks with any medication. Read the paperwork that accompanies it. So we compare those risks and their probabilities relative to the problems associated with our current ailment or the conditions to which we might be exposed. One must assess the risks from getting COVID versus the risks of the vaccine. COVID-19 has killed millions of people. Millions. There are several disorders that can result from getting COVID, which include long-term neurological disorders, loss of brain gray matter, long-term loss of taste and smell, brain fog, kidney damage, in addition to death. I hope to avoid those. Thus, I personally accept the risks of the COVID vaccines over the risks of COVID.
Well, good on
That
him.
is a personal choice which you might make differently. As for me and my family, we have gratefully received the Moderna vaccine, and we would have likewise chosen the
Team
Pfizer
Moderna.
had it been the one first available to us. If you fear the mRNA used by Moderna and Pfizer, then maybe the J&J vaccine is for you, since it's similar technology to the yearly flu vaccine, though somewhat less effective. Personally, if one of my children were under 18, since their long-term risks from COVID or its complications are so small, I would not recommend the vaccine for them. However, what you choose is up to you. Thank you.
Good.
Okay, now he says read the comments.
Who says read the comments?
Please
CRISPR.
don't subject us to this hell.
What just happened? What just happened?
By the way, one thing I wanted to say, you know how people say there are no answers in atheism? Well, I have an answer. The answer is no. Do not accept calls from people wanting to sell you car warranties. Thank you. That is an answer in atheism.
Yes. Okay, here we go.
Funny thing is,
Comments.
I hear there are no answers in atheism more from atheists than I do from non-atheists.
Yeah.
Now, Raw Nakedness wants us to read the comments, I think.
Ouch.
We never read the comments. We're bad
Comments.
people because we're atheists. We don't have a proper foundation for reading comments.
Yeah, we really don't have the right to.
Oh my god!
Because we don't know how to say something's true or false.
Can I read this first one here for you guys? This is too good.
Sure.
My trust in James Tour is good. This is that one with the felony videos, the green circle with the F right there at the top. My trust in James Tour is great. I appreciate his input. There have been many insane stories about the vaccines going around. I am on the fence and have many comorbidities. Right here. If I get it, I have calculated my chance of dying at about 70%.
It's pretty fucking high.
Oh, no. Oh.
You know, my chance of dying is 100%, and I still got the vaccine.
And he still waited.
I have waited because of the legal insulation and lack of approval. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. Let's see. I
They want
guess
to sue
you
somebody
waive
if
the
they
risk.
get sick, and you can't. I think. Is the whole
Thank
deal.
you, brother. I greatly trust you because I know ye are filled with the Holy Spirit. I choose not to inject it myself, though.
So, like if you write a scientific paper that's peer reviewed, but somewhere in there say that you were filled with the Holy Spirit when you wrote this paper, that's more
100% guarantee
believable?
it's getting published.
Okay, all right.
I'm trying to find the ones that don't say read more. Dear James, I love your work dearly, and you are driving a powerful wedge into the black depths of neo-Darwinism. But I have to disagree with you on this sole point. People are being injured very badly. That is absolutely understandable. These people are so fucking delusional. It's not even funny. I'm sorry, that might sound mean, but this is what delusion looks like. This is exactly what it looks like.
They're not going to take his word on the vaccine.
Not
but
too much
anything
science.
else.
Yeah, that's how selective. That's how it works. Not too much science mentioned here. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and assume you wanted to make this all by yourself. I definitely agree about it being a personal choice. The question is everyone else going to respect people's personal choice? Not when your personal choice puts like my family at risk, dude. No, I'm not going to respect that.
Are they like holding people down and giving them
It's the same reason like I don't respect people fucking driving drunk even though it's a personal choice because it puts other people's lives at risk. You fucking idiot.
Oh, by the way, in Minnesota, you get everybody who gets vaccinated gets $100 now from the state. Basically, they're giving away $100 for anybody.
And yet, dude. Okay, I'm sorry. Can I make a point here, really quick, Speed? Because this is so asinine. I don't even. So you always hear this. Oh well, vaccines haven't been approved by the FDA. And the funny thing is the very same people that are screaming that at the top of their lungs are the same people that, in the same fucking breath, will turn around and talk about how much they don't trust the government and how much the government's behind all this. But I'm not taking it because it hasn't been FDA approved. And it shows you how fucking little thought these people put into this shit. Like the FDA is the complete arbiter of safety globally. This is so fucking ridiculous. Jesus, these people are dumb.
Read this next one. Edmund Trujillo.
Thanks, Dr. Tour, for addressing this issue and expressing your thoughts and opinions. I think it's impossible to prove a negative. It's not. Regarding reports of graphene oxide, especially without chain of custody proof. What the fuck does that even mean? Personally, I trust in the blood of Jesus to heal all of my diseases. Holy fuck. This is so insane.
So when this guy takes an aspirin, does he suspect graphene because there's no chain of custody proof?
Christopher makes such a good point. He's like, Leo, and they want to take horse ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. Oh man, yeah, the selective, not selective outrage, the selective belief they have. Like they pick and choose which authorities they want to believe in. And will believe them in certain things and then reject everything they say about something else is so insane. Like, but this is how conspiracies work. I mean, we all know that.
No, this person is mad at him because he rebuked the Christian community. It's like the whole fucking Christian community. It's like, oh God. So he lost a subscriber here. Let's see. Renowned professors of traditional media. Oh my God. Oh, these are rich. This is.
Wait, hold on. What about the aspect that injections which cannot prevent transmission strengthen the virus? Yeah, injections with almost any, and CRISPR probably knows more, Speed probably knows more, so correct me if I'm mistaken here, but as I understand it, most vaccines, I don't know if I'd say all, but most vaccines don't necessarily protect you against transmission. They just protect you against infection. And that's what the whole vaccine shedding thing is that when you shed it, if you've got the vaccine, you won't get infected, but when your body sheds the virus, it could still potentially infect other people. This is why everybody should be getting their vaccine. If you don't want it to be transmitted, then get your vaccine, because the more people who are vaccinated, the less people it can infect, the less it can spread and reproduce, and then it doesn't ravage through the fucking population. But these people don't give even an iota of rational thought to anything before they make decisions.
Yeah, and if you have a lot of, I don't know anything about this, but if you have a lot of immunity, doesn't the shedding decrease? Basically, because you don't have a real virulent infection?
I guess it dies before it can find a host if you have a lot of vaccinations.
We need Dr. Dan here. That's what we need. Unless CRISPR knows. CRISPR might know. I don't know.
I put a link to what I consider an oldie but goodie from back in February. From It's Okay to Be Smart, visualizing herd immunity with 500 mousetraps. That's a really fun video, but it does illustrate the benefits of getting the vaccine for the sake of herd immunity. So,
It's amazing, but that's in the description.
The first sentence of the highlighted comment, I would classify RNA jabs as biological medicines rather than vaccines. Vaccines are biological medicines. What the fuck? See, this is what I'm like. I have to be like, I don't understand how people can genuinely be this fucking stupid, this ignorant of things. Like, oh my God, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And the fact that almost all of these people I have found are older than me, oftentimes by 20 plus years. This is so insane. Oh my God.
He's not doing the party line here, Brett Manning. This is the first time I've been extremely disappointed. Oh my God. So these are the people that aren't getting the vaccine. So we got them right here. We got the whole herd.
Well, they'll be
they're
seeing
all
Jesus pretty
fucking
soon, won't they?
Christians.
Maybe this is how Jesus is doing the rapture, making it so that the people that are going to get raptured don't take the vaccine and then they just die. And then that's how he's going to rapture them.
Oh my God.
Maybe that's what this is. Maybe COVID is the rapture, guys. He's taking them all to heaven by letting a virus ravage through their communities and killing most of them. So yeah, did you hear that, Christians? Don't get your virus, and if you don't die, it means Jesus didn't pick you. Obviously, nobody should take any medical advice from anybody on this channel whatsoever, regardless of how amazing or ridiculous it happens to sound.
Does somebody want to tell me what stabilizes girls?
Saying that
women?
it's what? Like, I honestly think that these people literally just make shit up. Like, yeah, I took the vaccine and my piss turned purple and then I puked up like a bunch of worms. Like, it was really bad. Like, they just pull shit out of their ass.
Wow. I'm talking atheist song when it talks about what? God is the what does this mean? This guy, what is this guy?
So really quickly, a question for CRISPR, because I just saw his question down there. If you happen to know CRISPR, whenever you get a chance to write out a comment or however many it takes to answer this question, what are the chances, do you know, of actually getting infected with the Delta variant if you have both of your vaccinations already? Because I thought that you can still get infected, it's just lower. But that you can still definitely get infected, but I don't know what the actual numbers are on that.
I know of one person that got it after he worked in retail, and he ended up with the sniffles, but he tested positive after two vaccinations, so it's possible. But his the symptoms were just like nothing. He said it was just like sniffles and nothing else.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Rodnick, and it's insane. Like I said, these people just say shit. They just say random shit that they think sounds educated. That's all they do. They know nothing. They know absolutely nothing.
Did I put the RNA world hypothesis? Yeah, I did. Okay.
What?
Oh, I'm working on my description. Oh. Scott keeps me busy on private chat with throwing stuff in the description. Oh, we got a shooter in the head, guys.
Not before I copy Dr. Dan's video from the other day. How evolution explains the Delta variant.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either, and I need to.
It's a really good video, and I think everybody needs to have a link to it.
Either tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to be recording for the second episode of Bad Science Communication. And what we're going to be talking about is the question: are electrons conscious?
Oh no! Oh no! Not that. Oh, not that. Okay, I'll grab this.
Do you guys here? I'll put the article that I'm going to be going over in the side chat, in the private chat for you guys. Speed's going to have to stick it in the YouTube chat or in the description for me.
Okay, I will. My. Oh, it's just so difficult. Okay.
Yeah, why don't you have Scott doing all this producing?
Memory.
Water has a memory.
I know they used to say water has memory, but now it's electrons have consciousness.
Apparently, this is going to be interesting. I actually haven't read this yet because I want it to be fresh in my mind when I go over it, but I'm going to read it and then probably read it again just to really understand it, check some stuff out that they're people that they're bringing up and other stuff like that, and then probably get it recorded.
So what was this about electrons having consciousness?
So when the electrons...
The link is in the... Here, you probably didn't come in soon enough to have it in there, so let me put it in there again.
I got a question. So if there's more than one electron in an orbital, Do they each have a subjective opinion about where they are?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I'm spin up. No,
state?
dude, I literally just measured myself. I'm spin up. You can't be spin up. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm spin up. Well, I don't know what you're saying. Okay, you know what? Let me measure myself again. Okay, now I'm spin down. I don't know what's going on. Dude, that's the craziest thing ever, man. You're not going to believe this. I just measured myself again, and guess what? I'm spin down too. Isn't this fucking crazy? Oh my God. Like, is that what's going on? I have no idea. This is insane.
Well, that's why you should read the articles. Where are you doing this?
Well, no, I'm doing a video because this is bad science communication because the electrons may not very well be conscious at all.
Okay, ask them how electrons ground their epistemology.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. What's their metaphysics like? Are they social? Do they socialize with each other?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm gonna shoot
the fact that they cite Sabine Hassenfelder. I mean, she would fucking laugh at this article. Is just insane. Oh, I'm gonna have so much fun with this one.
Yep. Okay, guys, we gotta die now.
We're gonna shoot her in the head.
We're gonna shoot her in the head.
I just want to say, roll neck and just keep those.
I'll never die, Speed.
Yeah, you're gonna die. We're all gonna die.
Hey, Speed.
I will never die.
Huh? What? David?
Can I sum up the chat today in a single sentence to end it off?
Sure.
What?
Keep doing science. Stop lying.
Yes. Good.
I don't know if that rhymed.
I just want to say, get off my lawn.
Get out.
By the way, I know Standing for Truth was in the chat. I doubt he's still listening. But if him or anybody else in their little camp happens to hear this, set me up a debate. Standing on your channel, me and Redefine Living, naturalist epistemology versus biblical epistemology. Let's fucking go. Let's get it.
Yeah, I might be.
I'll do it on Amy Newman's. I'd rather do it on Amy Newman's channel, but I want her to have somebody else for her next debate me, bro. Since I did her first one, so.
Yeah, okay. Leo, you're such a debate me, bro.
I'm really not actually. You see, the only reason I want is because I want to have a discussion with him to actually figure out what his epistle. Like, I'm really actually curious because with the things he said, I have no idea what it means, and I'm really curious now. I need to know. It was the same reason why I debated Sky Out on Nakasuchi's channel on The Raging Atheist, because he was making a bunch of statements about epistemology, and I was just like, well, what the fuck? So I was like, well, let's have a debate on this. Does God exist? Oftentimes, I'll use a debate as like an opportunity to have like a discussion, like a one-on-one discussion with another person.
That question hasn't been answered in 3,000 years, and it will probably never be answered.
I think you're going after locale.
Does God exist?
Leo, I think you're going after locale.
I don't know what that means.
You know, he's a little, he's the Walmart version. I mean,
I don't know what y'all. I don't know what that means. Walmart,
yeah, I don't know what that means either. But we're shooting it in the head right now. Goodbye, guys. Goodbye, cruel world. We're shooting in the head.
Bye.